everyone, Christmas is around the corner and we are celebrating this with none other than the Vice President of Salesforce, Pavinder Saggu. Welcome to Your India TV with me, Jasleen Khanuja, and how's the feel overall?
Thank you, Jasleen ji. I'm really glad to be on this channel today.
And we are here to discuss some of the hot topics, the changing times and economies, especially due to the COVID. And we have seen some radical changes in the economy. Although the good thing is that the stock market is going up, the housing market is also on its boom, it's flourishing, and the employment is increasing. It used to be not as great in the pre-COVID times as we see it now, but the dramatic change that we see is that the hiring has not been as great, and that also has been offset by the increasing resignations, the great resignation phenomena, the great reshuffle phenomena. At the same time, the increase in wages due to the demand in labor has been offset with the increase in inflation, and the real wage increase is just 0.5%. So with this kind of a landscape, what's your overall take on the changes that the information technology industry is going through?
I think, first of all, as we all know, this industry, information technology, was pretty much already ready for operating remotely. A lot of employees, even before COVID times, they were able to work from home at least once a day in a week or something like that, and they were already equipped to do so. So initially, when this pandemic hit last year, I think the unemployment rate skyrocketed to maybe 15% or so. But post that, the IT, especially the IT companies, they adjusted to this challenge very, very fast. They provided all the employees all the facilities which they needed to work from home, and they could do that within a couple of months, and all employees were all ready to go, and they started working very, very effectively from home. Productivity was either same or better, and they could deliver what they were working on. So overall, initially for the IT industry specifically, the impact, while it was initially great, meaning much higher, but I think after that, within few months, they adjusted very well. And I'm glad that this industry has been hiring also now. A lot of hiring is happening. The phenomenon which you talked about, people are shuffling jobs, people are changing jobs. That's because their personal choice. Some employees in some companies, they wanted to upskill, they wanted to learn something new, they wanted to join maybe a different company, and hence they need to move on. This time permitted them to learn some new skills and build those skills before they apply elsewhere. And every company is hiring good talent right now. Rather, we are in dearth need of good engineers across the board. We are kind of trying to find good people across the board, and sometimes we can't find a good talented engineer or any other worker in the company.
Yeah, and I do not really understand the reasons, because in the ever-changing technology, people have been upgrading their skills, which means the student and other community has also been learning information technology very passionately, and they really want to scale up. Yet, according to Vizier, which is the trusted agency for the workforce technologies and analytics reporting, we see that particularly in the age group of 20 to 25, a very high rise in the resignations or the change of jobs. The people really want to move on, they want to get promoted, they want to be high up in the hierarchical ladder. So what are the contributing factors in your opinion?
I think the first and foremost, briefly I was mentioning earlier also, is people want to move to find something which they love doing. Sometimes, they may not be challenged enough in their existing organization, and they are looking for opportunities elsewhere. Initial years are very important for an employee to stay put for a company for a longer period. I think the engineers don't realize that, hey, when you stay with a company, you learn more than when you jump around one company, second company, third company within a couple of years. That's rather negative on your resume. That's very, very negative, because they say that this employee is not able to stay with me for a longer, he's not committed. It becomes a challenge at that time when we are reviewing a new candidate. hey, this engineer 25 years and he has already moved 3 companies, that sometimes is read as a negative. The employees need to definitely upskill their skills which are matching to their new organization or new job, but that they can do on the current job as well, and kind of get promoted within large organization like Salesforce. We have engineers who move from one team to the other team, where they may find some even bigger challenging roles which they can kind of fulfill. So I think every company is kind of going through internally and externally these challenges, and they are mitigating where possible.
So, sticking around is the key. Not too often hopping is something which is recommended or encouraged or seen as positive by the employers. I think that was a very good tip. But overall, this is still happening. And looks like skilled people are not as much available in the market. Maybe the temporary workforce which used to come through the H1B visas, that has also gone down as the embassies were closed in the lockdown, and there were travel restrictions as well. So there is less inflow, which was actually something that was targeted by Trump administration at one time to encourage the hiring only for local Americans rather than bringing outsiders. But how do you think this has impacted the IT sector, especially in the Silicon Valley?
I think you brought up a good point where the H1 industry, especially, which was like temporary workers, they have been impacted quite a bit because, hey, they were temporary jobs. The companies, instead of hiring temporary, the remote work for H1B workers was a challenge because they had to apply sometimes a lot of labor related documentation with the department, including sometimes H1B petition being revived for their new role, working from home role type of even reduced hours sometimes. Some companies did impact this industry more so than the other bigger companies. Overall, I think what we have seen is while a employee tries to find a good job within the organization, either temporary or permanent, of course the skills needs to match to the role. And sometimes the H1B temporary worker may or may not have those roles, and hence that got impacted also. Overall, I think all in all, this industry has been impacted during these COVID times, especially the H1B industry.
However, I would still say that the overall scenario is quite positive. Just the major risk being the Omicron, which is a new variant of COVID-19. So let's see how the economy takes it. But with all the vaccinations in place, the unemployment rate is at a low at 4.5%, which is remarkable. And we also see that employers are not laying off much. At one point in time, the rate at which the layoffs were done was pretty high. We were seeing as many as around 1.3 million layoffs, which has considerably gone down to just at a low 0.9% or a 35,000 layoffs, which is pretty good and a positive sign for a lot of people. So these are some of the positivities that we see in the COVID. In the COVID, I also see that many companies could save on the costs by moving away from Silicon Valley. For example, Oracle Corporation, which is the second largest in the world according to 2020 market capitalization and revenue data, they moved their headquarters from Redwood Shores in California to Austin, Texas, and a lot of employers, when they realize that COVID is still creating a lot of stress amidst the IT work pressure and the timeline deliverables, the timelines which are really tight, they also gave some relaxation by giving out, the paid time off in the weekdays, especially Nike and Hootsuite and LinkedIn. All these big shots did think about the stress relief and all to the workforce. Overall, in your opinion, how has the overall stress situation been handled by the managements?
I think you brought up a very good point here. While COVID impacted monetarily or financially, it impacted emotionally also. I think the first thing is all the managers, all the management of a organization, they need to be very empathetic about when they talk to their employees. Not only they are helping them do their jobs well from home, they are trying to help in this specific situation also, like stress. They have started a lot of wellness programs, yoga programs on the air, basically a Zoom call or something, where they will bring a specialist who is very good at that, and then that person would kind of make you do those 30-minute sessions and 45-minute sessions. One or the other way, like for example, Salesforce also, we have every week one wellness meeting / we invite some good either a person who have been doing this, and then that's the kind of impact which every organization is still trying to make to bring those engineers out of this depression and low levels right now. And I think it has been very, very successful so far, what we have seen so at Salesforce especially.
That's pretty encouraging that corporates have been taking care of the mental wellness of the employees as well, and that's something that COVID has taught us, that we all need to relax and stay calm and still be collaborative and productive remotely. I think that's a great learning during COVID times. Now, you in particular, as a turbaned Sikh, when you grew up into these management cadre roles, and you are a senior level executive in one of the top-notch companies in the Silicon Valley. Everyone knows Salesforce, especially in the cloud industry. It is booming and it's rocketing, and it has made a mark in the market. So I'm sure you would be proud, and when other Indians and especially the Sikh Americans look at you, then you are an inspiration. So what would you tell them? What would be your tips that you would want to share to grow up in the corporate ladder?
I think, thanks first of all for the kind words, and yes, I think having Sikhs in very executive, in bigger roles is a very, very motivating factor. Even for me, when I used to look at saying, hey, a Singh is in such and such position, it was very, very motivating for me. Other than the Sikh factor, I think especially for going into senior ladder, there are very few skills which I think every person need to kind of bring in their day in, day out life. The very first one is they need to be very good communicator and presenter. A very, very important skill, doesn't matter which level you are. The second one is integrity, decision making. You should be very, very kind of based on the facts given. You should be able to make a decision saying whether this decision is a wrong or right. We will know later. But at least you should be able to make a decision and move forward with it. Many a times when you are handling a team, large team of engineers, you have to make certain decisions. I think the leaders make those decisions based on whatever facts are provided to them at that time. I think these are some of the skills. The other important skill is building you go outside your team, building more relationships. You need to know the people outside your team. You need to influence people. I think influence is another one. People should be able to know that XYZ person is able to do XYZ or not things, right? And they will be able to vouch for saying this engineer or this manager is doing a remarkable job. Unless you reach out to them outside your team, it will be hard to know that, right? So I think these are some of the skills I think which every person need to inculcate, especially on the senior management layer.
How do you handle the disputes, especially among your subordinates, and when you make decisions, because people management is one of the tougher tasks than I would say than actual technology management or taking decisions on the choice of technology?
I think the very good question, the very first thing is listening. You have to listen to the other party. And once you understand what the other party is saying, you need to bring facts in. If you are doing a counter argument, you need to have facts. Without facts, you can't say whether what I'm saying is right or wrong. So you have to kind of bring those facts in front of that engineer or wherever that conflict is arising and try to solve that. Many times when you sit with that engineer, either one-on-one or in a group setting, once you bring the facts, that issue does get resolved. So I think listening is a very important skill at that time. Yeah.
And there is a fear among certain leaders that a good mentoring may really lead to the subordinate coming up to their level or even, going across. So how do you handle that fear factor?
I think in that case, we usually, like every engineer or a senior engineer or a manager even, are assigned mentors. And mentors are the one who provide, because they have gone through that grill, they have gone through that path. They know what the nitty-gritty details of avoidance or acceptance are. And they will tell you, they will coach you, saying, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. Even if you do, something is not right, then how to handle that situation also. So I think a mentorship is a very, very important skill at in a management layer, and those are the ones which kind of they pass on, and when they mentor a junior engineer or a manager, they pass on to that, and that's how they learn and then move forward with it.
So I understand that soft skills, especially at the leadership level, are really very important. But at the same time, it is very important to be savvy of the change in the technologies. So nowadays, especially in the hot market of Silicon Valley, which is still hot, even though some companies have moved away, but let me quote here and go back to the times when the companies were taking birth here. Even Oracle took birth in Santa Clara. We have the Google, the WhatsApp, and a lot of companies, you name them, small and big, and they have their origin in Silicon Valley. So it has been the land of innovation, it has been the land of entrepreneurs, and even a lot of technocrats like yourself, at some point in time in their life, they think about going for their own startup, because they are so much influenced by the culture of the Silicon Valley. So all in all, what's your take on the choice of technology and the choice of a path as being an employee at any level to a big company in Silicon Valley, or going for their own startups? And Rivian and Tesla have been pretty successful.
I think it all depends on the opportunities. I know a lot of kids who are coming out of college now, they would want to work for a startup. And I believe, as you rightly said, the IT industry is booming quite a bit now. And there are a lot of startups back right now. And they are hiring some good talent also. And I think these students who are coming out of college, they would want to join those small startups. And then kind of make a dent down the line, saying, hey, I want to at least experiment for a couple of years with this startup and see if it kind of goes bigger and maybe at one day IPOs. And we have seen some recent IPOs, very, very successful IPOs also. So I think at that time it's all individuals. I have not seen very many engineers who have done like 10 years or 15 years of work, and then they are kind of jumping on to a small startup. Some engineers I have seen, they always work for startups, versus the other ones where they all want to work for a very established large organization where they can show their skills and they can kind of grow there. So I think it's more of an individual choice.
So overall, we see that in the present times, it's December 2021 going on, Christmas is around the corner, and seeing the overall market situation, I would say that the economy is at its boom. There has been a surge in the employment rates and even in the early retirement rates and customer spending, as there has been more money into people's pockets, not just because of the increase in in the wages that are being offered, but also in the private payroll and manufacturing, leisure and hospitality industries offerings that are also on the grow, and the employment is also on the grow. The only decline that has had a big impact in COVID is on the mining and the logging industries. But, IT, as you see, it's still on the upward trend, and it's still the fashion of the era. And probably a lot of more people who are thinking about startups are thinking something only in IT, not in the manufacturing goods sector, at least. And that's nothing significant is something that we see in the United States. Plus also there has been this surge, I think, on the West Coast can be said to be moderate versus big in the southern part of United States and low in the northeastern states in the United States. So overall, when we look at the United States of America, what's your message to people around the world who are watching? Would you still tell them come to US, or you would say stay back where you are and make your way in any sector that you want to? What's your overall feel and take?
I think what I have seen right now, especially from India, right, a lot of engineers who wanted to come here, they are able to get very good opportunities in India itself. Especially in Bangalore, Hyderabad, all these IT hubs, people are fighting, the employers are fighting for a good engineer. We have seen people, leaving from X company to Y because they are able to get a very nice package and a very nice role to fill in, where their skills can be utilized best to their capabilities. I think the reduction of people coming here could be a factor because they can get very good opportunities at home. They don't need to leave home and come here and then kind of again start their career afresh pretty much. Sometimes you get a H1 and then you kind of go, and then these green card, as you know, is taking very, very long time also. So I think some of these factors are kind of making that rethinking in your mind, saying, am I better here, or do I need to really go and start my everything again in US? I think that's pretty much my feel is.
Wonderful. And in the current market, like, is there any product at the top of your mind that you would like to pitch into the viewers, saying, yeah, this is the IT product that I'm proud of, or this is something that I think it creates an impact in the life. Like a lot of people are looking towards the robots and the artificial intelligence, the IoT, and these are some of the hot technologies that people are considering most modern, and especially people in the Silicon Valley are aspiring to work in one of these technologies any day. So is there something that impresses you?
I think you have seen this technology shift in the SaaS industry. So earlier we were on-prem, everything was running behind a data center. And I think that shift has proven to be successful in last, a decade plus. If you recall 15 years back, people were very apprehensive about going to on cloud and will my data be safe? So security is one area which has beefed up quite a bit in last decade plus 15 years or so. I think there is not a specific product per se, but I would say every company need to jump on that bandwagon saying, I need SaaS solutions, which are very secure, very reliable, scalable. So I think, for example, Salesforce, we are providing a lot of good software which any and every organization can use for their functions, because our breadth of products is very large, and one or the other product will help you achieve your goals. So I think SaaS going on cloud is definitely booming and quite a bit successful also.
So how about like the data science, because data is everywhere and people want to use the analytics, we used to have the ETL power center, and now the big data manager is everywhere, and people are taking up data science as a choice of career, and industries are also using that data everywhere to different kinds of benefit.
I think you mentioned about BI analytics and all that stuff. This is default now. Like this is like kind of a bread and butter. If you are getting something, these are all these are like, if you recall, if you buy a car like 15 years or 20 years back, hey, cruise control is there or not? Now this cruise control is already built into every application. So as security, so as DI, right? All these basic things are already integrated. Any and every company is integrating these AI bots and which can provide you these on real life meaning real time analytics, and so that you can make decisions better. So these are all integrated. It's not like something you add on later and then kind of do with that technology. It is all integrated.
Wonderful. And some people also fear like the bots will take over, then the human force will suffer, and similarly with the driverless cars, even though the nuances are there at this time, but at some point when it totally becomes driverless and no manual intervention in driving or even in software technology and other areas wherever bots can work, then how do you foresee that kind of future?
I believe the robots will be part of, I think you all know, right, these Roomba and these, right, like the cleaning devices, and again, everything is either technology, AI, right? Even fridges can talk to you, right? You can say, hey, I need this, make a list. I think the technology innovations which has happened in last, it is exponential. We all know now, because you can see the power in a laptop which used to be in a large mainframe. It is on a palm of your hand, because even your cell phone is much more powerful than a kind of
everything is smart.
Everything is very, very smart, and everything is kind of becoming miniaturized, smaller and smaller. I think robots are the way to go in future, and I think we all know they will be there. They are doing a lot of work behind the scene which we don't see. All these cars you talked about, Tesla and all these, they are all being built by robots. So robots will be part of all of us one or the other way, whether we like it or not. Yes, we need to be a little bit more careful how much control we want to give and what kind of security measures we place in those machines.
Wonderful. And you all know that droneology is also taking over, and similarly a hell lot of technologies, and we'll hear more and more names in the coming future as more and more innovation takes place. So stay tuned in and keep checking all the updates. SpaceX is also taking a lot of people's attention, I would say, these days. So thanks, Pavinder, for all the great information and views that you shared with us. Any final message to the viewers?
I think it is all I think good. Have a good break. I know it is Christmas time right now. All be safe. If you haven't taken the booster shots, please go and take it, because that's definitely required right now. And I think that's the only way we can stop this resurge of some of these Omicron and other variants. So be safe and enjoy the holidays. Thank you. Thanks for having me on this channel.